Hey guys, MBB here. Today I'm going to be doing deck profile for my For Hire deck. I've been playing around with this for a while. It's a really fun deck. It's not competitive by any means, don't get me wrong there. Um, but I still really enjoy playing it, and you can actually end on some pretty cool boards, so yeah, I'm just going to be sharing my strategies. So, yeah, if you don't know, all of the lower level For Hire monsters all have an effect that allows you to, as a hard once per turn, special summon a For Hire monster from your hand. So all the lower level For Hire monsters are really useful, and that's why I play 3 of most of them. And then they all also have a secondary effect, where when a monster For Hire is special summoned to your side field while you control this face-up card, you get some bonus effect. So for beat, you get to search a For Hire monster from your deck to your hand, so that's like the best one. Seal allows you to get a monster For Hire back from the graveyard to your hand, so it's still pretty good, but not as good as Beat. And Philo allows you to revive a monster For Hire from your graveyard in defense mode, so Philo is also really good. These 3 just generate you free advantage. Donpa allows you to pop a face-up card on the field, and Recon allows you to pop a set card on the field. So both really good for going second, and also if you can revive monsters For Hire on your opponent's turn, which you can, these can be really nice disruptions during your opponent's turn. So they're both really good. Bravo just boosts all of your For Hire monsters' attack and defense by 500 for the rest of this turn. So not the greatest effect, but it's a level 4. So you can make some cool rank 4 plays with Seal and Bravo. And then I just got only 1 Helmer. So this allows you to discard a card For Hire to draw a card. And while that may seem really good on paper, because, well, it's a flat 0, it's basically an Upstart Goblin. But the problem with Helmer is that you usually want to have For Hire monsters in your hand, whether it's to special summon with these lower levels effects, or to use the effects of the higher level For Hire monsters, which I'll get to in a second. But all these are really good. It's good to play a lot of copies of them, since you're going to need a few of them in your hand in order to actually do anything. So, yeah. Then we got the higher level For Hires. These are more the boss monsters. So we got 2 Rafali Champion For Hire. Or sorry, 3 Rafali Champion For Hire. I guess I can't count. 2 Wiz Sage For Hire. So Rafali is the better of the 2, since when it's special summoned, you can excavate the top card. You can excavate cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of monsters For Hire on your side of the field with different names, not including Rafali. So this is really good to get in your opening hand, because if you can just spam out like 4 For Hire monsters and then Rafali, you get to choose from one of the top 4 cards of your deck to just add to your hand. So it's a +1, super good, but that's not all. So when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can discard a card For Hire to negate the activation. Doesn't destroy, but it's still negate. So this is like why you need For Hires in your hand. So that's why Helmer's effect isn't always great. So a lot of times if you're using Helmer, you're actually not going to trigger the second effect, because you want to save him in hand for stuff like Rafali. And Wiz, also really good. When it's special summon, you get to gain 500 life points for each monster For Hire on your side of the field with a different name. Again, not including Wiz. So first effect not as good as Rafali, but it's still decent first effect. But similar to Rafali, when your opponent activates a spell or trap card or effect, you can discard a card For Hire to negate the activation. So negates monster effects, negates spell traps. Really nice. They're just negates. They're pretty good. Then I just got 3 hand traps in the form of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. So if you've seen the Link monster, Folgo Justice For Hire, this can trigger its effect on your opponent's turn. I'll explain what Folgo does when I get to the extra deck. But Ghost Ogre is just a decent hand trap in general, and it can trigger Folgo's really broken effect. So, yeah, I'll explain the combo when we get to the extra deck. That's all for monsters. We've got a few spells in here. So starting off with 3 copies of Pod Desires. you play so many 3-ofs, like you saw just from all the monsters for hire. Like, it doesn't matter if you banish them, because it's not like you have any specific combos or any cards that you really need. You just need, well, a bunch of monsters for hire. So Desires is super, super good in this deck. It's basically just a free draw 2. 99% of the time, the banishing doesn't matter. Then we just got one copy of Rhoda. Its only target is Beat, but it's basically a fourth copy of Beat, which is your best for hire. So Rhoda's really good. 1-for-1. Combos really well with Philo, since Philo can revive monsters from the graveyard. So when you send for a cost of 1-for-1, you can revive that monster with Philo's effect. So 1-for-1, super, super good. For quick plays, I got 3 copies of Mayhem for hire. So this is how you trigger stuff like Donpa and Recon, and I suppose all your other lower level for hire effects on your opponent's turn. So this is basically Monster Reborn for the archetype, except it has to go into defense mode. It's a hard once per turn, and it's a quick play spell. But that means you can trigger it on your opponent's turn, similar to something like Back to the Front. So Mayhem for hire, really, really good. You can generate advantage or get disruptions on your opponent's turn. So Mayhem for hire is really, really good. Then I got 3 copies of Call by the Grave. So one of the weaknesses of this deck is that it's super normal summon reliant, because you always need that first for hire effect to go off, and therefore it's like ridiculously weak to hand traps. Like if you normal summon for hire monster and they Veiler it, or impermanence it, it's basically turnover. So like impermanence is this deck's biggest weakness, since you can't call by the grave it, but call by the grave still stops stuff like Ash and Veiler. So really, really useful to have. 1 copy of Emergency Teleport. I usually find myself setting this just so I can flip it on my opponent's turn and get out Ghost Ogre. Since Ghost Ogre can actually send itself from the field to the graveyard to activate its effect. So Emergency Teleport is really, really nice just to get out Ghost Ogre. It's basically your 4th copy of Ghost Ogre. And then 1 copy of Double or Nothing for the Utopia double combo, since you can make Ring Force. So yeah, that's all for the main deck, 40 cards. Now I'll go into the extra deck. So we got 1 copy of Linkuriboh. So you have Philo, right, which is your level 1. So if you have just like an extra Philo on your end board, you might as well just link it off into Linkuriboh, get protection from attacks. So I figure why not? It's a good monster. Then we got Nightmare Phoenix and Nightmare Cerberus for back removal and, well, monster removal. And our last thing too is Underclock Taker. This is mostly for like OTKs and stuff, since Underclock Taker can just make things small and allow you to hit for a lot of damage. So this is really nice if you're trying to consolidate monsters into Borrelsword. On the way, you can just make Underclock Taker and make something smaller. So yeah, Underclock Taker really good for just OTKing your opponent. Then we got 2 copies of the aforementioned Fulgo. So if you don't know what Fulgo does, basically when it's link summoned, well, first of all, it takes 3 monsters with different types. So that's just the only requirement. So if it's link summoned, then you get to bring out a free for hire from your deck in defense mode, as long as it has a different type from the monsters used for its link summon. So that's like obviously a really, really good effect. But also, if a card your opponent controls is destroyed by battle or card effect, then you get to draw a card. Or if you control 3 or more for hire monsters, different names, including Fulgo, you actually get to draw 3 cards instead of 1. So that's why it's super good to have like Donpa plus Mayhem for hire or Ghost Ogre, because you want to be able to destroy your opponent's cards and just get these free draws. And then it could also load your hand with for hires to discard with you know, Wiz or Folly's effects. So Fulgo, super, super good card. We got Nightmare Unicorn just for some more generic removal. Really nice card. We got Borrelsword to end games. Pretty self-explanatory. Then I'm trying out 1 copy of Top Logic Bomber Dragon. I don't really go into this very often, but the reasoning behind this is because you play Mayhem for hire, which can revive monsters on your opponent's turn. So if you have Bomber Dragon out, and, well, probably the extra monsters in, Then if you play a Mayhem for Hire, you can basically just blow up your opponent's board at will by summoning back up for hire to one of the zones Bomber Dragon points to. So it's really good in theory, but I barely use it. One copy of Abyss Dweller. This is probably my go-to rank 4 if it's good in the matchup, obviously. Abyss Dweller can just lock out monster effects that activate in the graveyard, so it's really good against a lot of matchups like Orcust. We got Utopia Double and Utopia. This is another way to just easy OTK your opponent. So if they have a monster on their side of the field in attack position with 2,000 or less attack, you can go into Utopia Double combo and just hit for, well, 8,000 or more damage. So Utopia Double, really good. Keep in mind that you can't actually use Utopia Double's effect if you draw the double or nothing. So that's like the deck's biggest brick. We got Time Thief Redoer as an additional rank 4 option. Kind of more generic. It also has 2,400 attack. King of the Feral Imps. Something I'm trying out. The idea behind this is if you can make a rank 4 and you have like Rafale or Wiz out, but no for hires in your hand, you can summon King of the Feral Imps, detach, add a reptile monster, which is going to be Bravo. So then you'll have a card to discard for Rafale or Wiz or whatever. And then finally you got Hope Harbinger. This is if we can get out 2 Rafales and their effects aren't really useful in that matchup. If we're going against something like Sky Striker that plays a lot of spells, Hope Harbinger is really, really nice. So yeah, that's it for the extract. 15 cards, obviously. I guess I'll show my side deck. I'm just playing 3 Pankratops. It's easy special summonable monster if you're going second. And it can also kind of push through negations and try to start breaking your opponent's board. And also, since there are no dinosaur for hires, this is a nice link material for Folgo if you want to go that way route. So Pankratops, really, really nice generic side deck card. You got Lancia for stuff like Orcust. A lot of decks like to banish stuff. I've even sided this in against like dinosaurs, but Lancia is just like a really, really good card in general for stuff like Orcust. I got Nibiru for combo decks, pretty self-explanatory. Ash if I want to like side something out. This is kind of just a generic card. We got Forbidden Chalice. This is mostly for stuff like Thunder Dragon, because Colossus is really annoying, so is Titan. Whatever. Forbidden Chalice just can negate effects, and protection doesn't, well, it doesn't protect from it unless they're infected by card effects. So Forbidden Chalice is just really nice to negate stuff, and you can also set it to activate on your opponent's turn. Got Unending Nightmare for spell trap removal. This is ridiculous against stuff like Pendulums that require face-up spell traps to play. So Unending Nightmare, really, really good card. And then lastly, Imperial Order, because it's an auto win against, well, like Sky Striker or anything that plays a ton of spells. So yeah, that's it for hire. That's it for hires. See what I did there? Please don't dislike. So yeah, that's it for my for hire deck, and suggestions are welcome. I hope you learn from this, and please play for hire because it's an awesome deck. And thanks for watching.